CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Najahe Sherman, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories. The political speculation may now be put to rest. According to sources with CBS News, Governor Ron DeSantis will announce his 2024 presidential bid Wednesday night on Twitter in a conversation with Elon Musk. Some of the new laws that he signed and some of his recent statements have fueled controversy and change in the state. CBS News Miami's Chelsea Jones has more on the governor's impact on the cultural and political landscape in Florida.
In short, Governor Ron DeSantis has the trifecta of what's needed to make change in the way most lawmakers set out to do when they take office. With the courts, legislature, and voters, one politics professor says that's why the governor's conservative policies are working in Florida. The push and pull between Republicans and Democrats in Florida on full display. Conservative policies have made significant headway, not without garnering a lot of opposition along the way. Governor Ron DeSantis has signed a 15 and 6-week abortion ban. In July, you won't need a permit to conceal carry. He's been consistent in trying to stop woke, or in other words, he's challenged how African American history is taught in schools and colleges. The governor has also done the same in the LGBTQ plus community, and there's the ongoing feud between DeSantis and Disney.
They're trying to do something that's right, proper, necessary in their point of view.
He's talking about Republicans. Politics professor Charles Zeldin says with the state house seeing a Republican supermajority, many conservative appointments in the courts, and the Republicans that outnumbered Democrats at the polls in the last election, Governor DeSantis has been successful in his quest of getting things on his agenda done.
Every action he takes to build support, he is losing support.
Zeldin says DeSantis doesn't care about the support he's losing. The governor's staff cites in a news release many successes during his tenure. They report last year unemployment was down for 2 consecutive years. The labor force grew more than double the national average. They tout his success with hurricane response and record funding in education.
We must reject the culture of losing that has infected our party in recent years.
Will those conservative policies work on the national stage?
He's gambling that he can generate interest not only among the base of the Republican Party, but among independent voters as well.
Governor DeSantis has been making visits to key primary states in recent weeks. He is expected to officially announce his bid for the White House Wednesday. In the studio, I'm Chelsea Jones, CBS News, Miami.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
And taking a live look at downtown Miami, we have seen some heavy downpours this afternoon, and that is just the start of what is expected to be a very wet next few days. Next weather meteorologist Cindy Pressler joins us now. Cindy, what are you tracking?
A lot of showers and thunderstorms out there at this hour, and this is exactly the way it goes when we have this type of a situation. We have southeasterly winds, but the flow aloft is pushing everything off to the east now, so tons of outflow boundaries out here. And of course, we've got the sea breeze fronts, and that's what these storms build off of. The strongest one right now is coming out of, actually from the west, crossing Chrome Avenue, now moving into southern Broward County. There's a lot of lightning here, and this is the one that's putting down heavy rain. There could be some gusty winds, 40-mile-per-hour winds with this, and there's a potential for hail too. I put the cone on this so it heads toward Pembroke Pines. It's moving north-northeast now at 15 miles per hour. So Pembroke Pines, Davie, you're going to get in on all this lightning and this heavy rain. It's a slow mover, so that's one thing that could cause flooding here too. And when you see the purple on here, when I've got the hail tracker on, that potentially has some cold air aloft, so it could produce some small hail as well. So we're going to be busy for the next few hours. This really isn't going to taper off until later on this evening. You can, oh my goodness, look at these boundaries coming in from the east coast. So these showers and storms are really going to keep going northward into Broward County. So Weston, you're going to pick up some heavy rain out of this as well. We'll put this model into motion for you. It's really focusing on the east coast, and we knew that was going to happen today. That flow, these storms come in out of the west and they move off to the east southeast. 8 o'clock, we still have showers and storms. Finally, by 9, 10 o'clock tonight, it all begins to die off, and then we'll start the process again tomorrow, because we are going to be in a marginal risk for severe thunderstorms all of South Florida, so it includes everyone that is watching. Best chance for rain 1 to about 7 o'clock tomorrow. Then you get those lingering storms going into the evening as well. And the next few days, still high chance for showers and thunderstorms. But fortunately, by this weekend, maybe we'll get to see a little bit of a break, and certainly that would be good news. Southwesterly flow, that pushes everything to the east coast. Another disturbance on Friday, so that'll keep us in the stormy pattern. There's a little bit drier air coming in this weekend, so maybe we won't see as many storms, but over the next few days, 1 to 4 inches. Definitely not out of the question. So our temperatures will stay hot. Mid to upper 80s. Good chance for storms every single afternoon. This weekend it backs off a little bit, and next week a little bit drier as well.
All right, thank you, Cindy. Some tough weather ahead. A heartbreaking situation for many South Florida residents. They are in desperate need of help finding a home. Those applying for the emergency rental assistance in Miami-Dade County can no longer get that help. The emergency rental assistance program stopped accepting new applicants in February.
Confusion and doubt remain for those in desperate need of help to stay in their homes. The county still lists on their website Victoria Homes as a place for folks to come in and apply for emergency rental assistance within Miami-Dade County. That's no longer the case, though, since the county stopped accepting new applicants for ERAP just a few months ago. A sign sits in the Victory Homes office door. This office is not ERAP. Months after pausing the program, one resident we caught up with was unaware of the change.
There's no applications here.
Marlo desperately trying to find his elderly aunt on a fixed income some help with a new lease for a new place to live.
How long you been trying to help her find a home?
For a good little minute.
He's tried for months, but little did Marlo know he missed the deadline to apply for ERAP online. The county website for ERAP says the county paused its ERAP but will continue to review applications that have already been submitted. The pause happened in February, but scrolling down the website, it still encourages people to apply online and lists physical addresses to use, like the other listed in Homestead. I went inside that office where a county employee told me people still show up asking to apply for ERAP funds. I called the Miami-Dade County Mayor's office to ask about the confusion, and they told me they would correct the link since ERAP no longer has physical office locations. Those who met the submission deadline, like Miami resident Amara, it's been a waiting game. In her case, for 8 months.
I felt like I was in my breaking point, but my dad was saying, you know, send another email.
She's lost 2 jobs since moving to a 1-bedroom apartment in Miami last August. The law student first applied to ERAP last September. She turned to us last week after receiving eviction paperwork from her landlord. We asked the county about her situation, and within 24 hours, they approved ERAP funds.
I'm eternally grateful for CBS and everybody who's helped me along this process.
That was Joe Gorcha reporting. When we come back, a South Florida congresswoman proposes what she calls a historic bipartisan immigration bill. More on the Dignity Act after the break. Keep it here.
Mother Tammy Nobles told a Republican-led House panel Tuesday how her 20-year-old daughter was killed.
I don't want any other parent to live the nightmare that I am living.
Last summer, police say Kayla Hamilton was murdered by an MS-13 gang member. Nobles says he had been apprehended at the southern border, then was released into the U.S. as an unaccompanied minor.
The United States government has to secure our border. We need to properly vet all border crossers.
The Biden administration says it is working to do that, stepping up resources to process migrants seeking asylum and increasing deportations.
The vast majority of asylum seekers are coming here because they are fleeing persecution. Many people who come here are not in need of protection, but that's why we need a system that makes that distinction.
A new Biden administration program that allows people to sponsor asylum seekers has already received an overwhelming 1.5 million applications. The Department of Homeland Security says it can only accept 30,000 a month. Tuesday, a group of House lawmakers rolled out a new bipartisan immigration reform bill. They're calling it the Dignity Act.
Waiting for either side's idea of what is perfect is exactly what's gotten us into the situation we face today.
The legislation would provide a pathway to citizenship for some undocumented people, provide billions in border security financed by immigrants, and expedite the asylum claims process. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
Ahead of tonight's game, officials are getting ready for the fan frenzy. If you've lived here in South Florida long enough, you know when there's a big win, the streets are filled with the sounds of pots and pans. CBS News Miami's Nicole Lauren is in downtown Miami with what we can expect tonight from law enforcement.
Well, Heat fans are hoping that we will sweep the Celtics tonight here at the Kaseya Center behind me. So this is likely going to be the sight that you're seeing, as well as the noise out here in downtown Miami. So such an exciting time here for Miami Heat fans as well as the Heat. So with the fans and the large crowds, of course, we're expecting a larger law enforcement presence out here to keep everyone safe. So let's take a look at some previous celebrations from other years. After a big Heat win, this is what it typically looks like. People lining the streets of Biscayne Boulevard cheering on, and of course you cannot forget the beloved South Florida tradition of those pots and pans. But with the larger crowds and some rowdy fans, you may sometimes run into some trouble. I spoke with Chief Manny Morales, who's expecting all Heat fans to celebrate in a safe and respectful manner, and he doesn't expect any issues.
We can see large crowds, usually the caravans with the pots and pans, people celebrating. So more of a traffic concern than a safety issue, but just be mindful when you're out there celebrating. You could, easily fall out of the vehicle. We see some of the individuals riding in the back of pickup trucks with small children. Just be mindful. Not only is that incredibly dangerous, it's illegal as well. So just, like I said at the beginning, just party and celebrate responsibly.
So I can tell you this is a all hands on deck effort and a team effort from our police agencies. It's not only City of Miami Police, but Miami-Dade PD, FHP, Sweetwater, just to name a few. They're all working together to make sure everyone stays safe in case there is a big Heat win and fans are just taking over this area out here tonight. So Chief Morales also suggesting that ride sharing is probably a good option for you, as we can expect traffic before and especially after the game to get pretty bad. In downtown Miami, Nicole Lauren, CBS News, Miami.
And we've got you covered tonight. I'll be live out there along with the rest of the CBS News Miami team. Productive meetings, but still no agreement on raising the debt ceiling. At 5, more on the deepening lines of division after the latest round of talks at the White House. That is CBS News Miami's Quickcast. I'm Najahe Sherman. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami.